You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. A professional motivational speaker, Nancy can help you overcome obstacles and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Hello and welcome back to the Living Full Out show. I'm Nancy Solari, and today we're talking about choices, how we find the motivation, how do we find the answers? Because I can tell you, I've been at the crossroad many times, and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And sometimes you have ample time to think about it, and sometimes you don't. You have to make that split-second decision and go with it and trust yourself. And it's important that, in living a life full out, there's going to be tons of choices. Some are going to only impact you, and some are going to impact others in your life. And remember that all you can do is the best that you can. I think we strive so oftentimes to be perfect, to look the part, to not make mistakes, to not fall. But it's when you make a mistake, it's when you fall, it's when you fail that you get the biggest lessons. And that allows us to learn so that when we make future choices, now we're able to look back at the past. What were the results of certain choices that we made? And how can we make better choices into the future? It's really about, again, taking those risks, but trusting yourself that when you make a choice, you got to kind of go with it and, reap the rewards or feel the pain. But either way, it's about just going for it. And our inspirational guest today, Dennis Marcellino, had to make for himself many tough choices. While he achieved success as a musician with well-known bands like the Electric Flag and Sly and the Family Stone and the Tokens, he dealt also with addiction, dependency on alcohol and drugs. And so he's going to take us on that journey today about how he made the choices to step into recovery and not look back. And today he is a great example of living life full out. So I'd like to welcome Dennis to the show. Hello, Dennis.
Good morning.
Hi, thank you for joining us. So
Sure, my pleasure.
Yeah, so I want to take our audience back, okay, because with all this fame and success that you had, it all started really when you were around 15, kind of doing your early gigs. That was the first time that you were actually introduced to alcohol, even at that tender age. Can you share with us about that?
Well, yeah, that was the typical, teenagers hanging out. Mm-hmm. And we used to hang out and we used to drink.
Mm-hmm. And then as your career kind of went ahead, you also grew with your relationships. Now, not everybody gets married at 17, but you did. So, when you got married at 17, you had found the love of your life at such a tender age. And, amongst that love, you were still trying to thrive in your career. But now more drugs were introduced to you. What were the drugs that you and your wife would take during that time?
Well, see, actually, I was trying to do the normal thing.
Okay.
I was going to college as an engineer, and then when I worked as an engineer, right across the street was the Film Auditorium, and that's the whole beginning of the hippie movement. And I was just totally taken up with the bands, and so I decided to, switch my career to musician. And when it's like what they call it, the martini for the 1950s businessman. In those days, for being a musician in San Francisco, the drugs of choice were dope, mainly, marijuana. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of progressed to hash, and then later cocaine and heroin, and so I just partook in all those.
And was some of that related to the peer pressure, just kind of going along with the gang, or did you actually enjoy doing the drugs?
I think it was a combination. Mm-hmm. You're kind of pushed by the peer pressure into experimenting with drugs, mm-hmm. and so yeah, I did. There was some things that I did enjoy about, like getting high on grass. And the thing that kind of got to me, though, was, why don't I feel this way naturally all the time? It was very peaceful and relaxed. And then there's the come down, which I didn't like, and the headaches and all that, kind of like the hangover with the And so I just started on a journey, like a spiritual journey, to find out, what's going on. Why don't I? Is there a way to feel that way naturally?
Well, and I love that you mentioned that, because one of your best experiences with drugs was a night that you were on LSD, right? And you were taken so high that it was peaceful. It was a place you had never felt before.
Exactly. That was a good way to put it, what you just said. The way, and it's something I'd never thought of. And to me, it was just like discovering God. The potential for a human being to experience love is just incredible. And I guess it took that drug to make me realize that. So then I really was inspired to pursue, why don't I feel this way naturally?
Well, exactly. Now, it's interesting because you said it best one time that LSD was a bit of Russian roulette, because you had this beautiful moment, your first experience, going so high and feeling love and feeling peace. But then your wife took LSD, and she had a very epic negative experience. Can you share with us about that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that I read an article one time that was called Fear Fallout. And so it was so bad that what she experienced, I had to drive her to a mental hospital. And that was it. The marriage was over. I mean, we had 7 years of great, love and joy. And then all of a sudden, just one night, one experience with LSD. That's why I call it Russian roulette. It was over.
Mm. And that's sad, because she was the love of your life. And did that instantly change your view of drugs, or did that amplify things even more, because now obviously you were depressed?
Yeah, well, the whole before that was just about getting high, But then after that experience, I went into agoraphobia, and it was survival, and so therefore I did something that I didn't do for all those, initial hippie years, which was drink, and because alcohol would just kind of like part of my survival from the agoraphobia.
Mm-hmm. During that time, and there are going to be a handful of our listeners who are with you right now because they're experiencing something heavy in their life, a loss, a disappointment, a failing in their life, and perhaps they're also turning to alcohol. And how did you see? Did you see yourself through the weeds at all? Were you able to function at all without the alcohol?
No.
Okay. Would be no. Okay. Well, when we come back, Dennis, I'm going to actually explore that no further, because that pain is where we all can grow together. So I want you to stay with me, because we're going to go to a commercial break. And but we're all about living full out. We're all about getting rid of that heaviness in our life. So Dennis, stay with us. And everybody, when we come back, we're going to be talking further with Dennis. This is the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari. We'll be right back.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Drop that baby.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, they can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Connor is struggling in school.
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, helping solve child hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Your daughter is having trouble learning French. Do you A, hire a tutor?
Bonjour.
B, enforce a French-only rule at home? Or C, watch some foreign films? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
I adopted Bento from a shelter, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a trusted life coach, Nancy will help you overcome setbacks and embrace all life has to offer. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out Show. And right now, we're in our interview with our inspirational guest, Dennis Marcellino. Today, we're talking about choices. And as a musician who was in very famous bands like the Electric Flag, the Tokens, Sly and the Family Stone, he dealt with drug and alcohol abuse, addiction, dependency, whatever you want to call it. But he fought through the fire to get to the other side, to a place that he found peace, he found clarity in his life. So I'd like to welcome Dennis back to the show.
I'm here.
Hi. Well, there you are. Love that voice. Nice. Okay, good. So I just, before we went to the break, we were talking about how, the loss of your wife, the downfall of your marriage, all the drugs, the pressure, that kind of put you into a very deep, dark hole, where then you turn to alcohol to help alleviate that pain. And so many of us who, even on a lighter scale, there's people who pop a bottle of wine, yes, for celebratory reasons, but also when you're having a bad day, right? And people might turn to weed or might turn to, painkillers or whatever to numb pain. And I think it's really important, your story here, Dennis, because, again, you did eventually get through the fire, but aside from the alcohol, did you feel like you were living a lie? Was anybody there that you could talk to?
Not really, because, to expose how I was feeling would jeopardize what the fix in my life was. And the fix in my life basically was that I had to make it in the music business. And so everything else is variable, drugs, alcohol, the relationships didn't matter. That was the fixed. And so until I changed that fix, I didn't get fixed.
Well, and I think that's important. We all need to look at ourselves. Alcohol, drugs, that doesn't fix us. We have to look inside. And that's actually one of the most tender parts of your story, is you were seeking these answers. You weren't looking to get high because you love the drug so much. You just wanted to know how you could feel that freedom, that liberation every day. And so as you were clawing through the weeds, I'll say, turning to alcohol, I mean, you were drinking nightly and you were upping your ante. What did you get to in terms of alcohol abuse? What was your epic time?
When I was working in the clubs, we would have 5 sets, and therefore we would have 4 breaks. And during each break, I would do some tequila. And then it turned out that during the day, then I started drinking, and I just wanted the strongest stuff, and that was chartreuse. I think was 120 proof. And so one time in my refrigerator, I looked, and all was in there was a bottle of chartreuse.
Wow.
So, but like you were saying though, what I was doing during that whole time though is I was trying to solve this problem, and even though I was self-medicating with the alcohol, I was seeing psychiatrists and psychologists and different growth groups, trying to give me an answer as to how I can feel peace, how I could feel good, and not feel the weakness for alcohol.
And how or where did you finally get your first moment of clarity, the first step of this recovery?
Let's see. A friend of mine, he was taking over. I was moving on to a higher position in the band, and so this guy was taking over my position, and he says, so what are you into? And I was really drunk at the time. I was in a club, and I said, I'm just into finding the truth. I don't care what I have to do or where I have to go. And he goes, oh, well, this is your lucky night. And so he says, meet me on Sunday. Oh, no, he said, give me a call, and then we can talk about this. And so at 3 o'clock in the morning when we got off our gig, I gave him a call, and because I was very desperate. And so he says, on Sunday, I'll take you to this group. And then at the group, you'll find peace. You'll find out how to have peace.
And what was the group?
So, pardon?
And what was the group?
His name was Guru Maharaji, and it was Divine Light Mission. And everybody there was very, not only just peaceful, they were blissed out. And there's no drugs or alcohol, anything like that. Very inspired to connect with God within them. And each person would get up one at a time and talk to the group, just kind of like, give their testimony. They called it satsang. And I got totally inspired. So I just stopped the drinking at that point.
And you made that choice. You made that choice to do so. And was that easy? Did you relapse? Were you tempted?
No, actually. There was the group. It was an international movement, and there was a lot of support there in the group. So I didn't feel like I had to put on, like the Eleanor Rigby, the mask in the jar by the door.
Right.
So I used alcohol to fortify that mask. So I didn't feel like I had to do that anymore, because now my peer group was a group that was trying to grow and trying to live naturally higher.
Well, and I love that, because for all of us, we have to make sure that we're hanging out with the right group, the right friends, the right people who will inspire us, take us to that next level. Now, we're kind of towards the end of our interview, so I want to make sure that I get to something with you, because you've walked the abusive alcohol drug journey. You have found your way through the fire. You made a choice to hang out with different people that inspired you and to give up the drinking. And what do you think it is? Because you've now been sober for what? How many years now?
34 years.
For 34 years. So if you were to give us one ingredient, let's say this was a pie we were making, what is the one secret ingredient that has kept you strong for those years?
Real simple. Basically, I started the search, like I said, to psychiatrists, psychologists, and it's 19 different things that I tried. It's approaches to lifestyle and truth and problem solving, and that would be hypnosis and Eastern mysticism and Scientology, and so there's a bunch of things I tried. Only one of them worked finally in the end at the beginning of the 34 years, And that's just saying, okay, God, I've tried everything else. Jesus, I'm giving my life totally to you. Let's see what you can do with it. I'll do exactly what you say. I'll read the Bible. I'll study it. I'll do exactly what you say for me to do. Mm-hmm. And that was it. That was a magic change. It's just like, and that worked. It put peace in my heart, confidence, security, and I haven't looked back since.
Well, and I love that. It was really just about making that choice. And for everybody, they have their own beliefs, their own values, their own walk to take. But you made it, and I'm so proud of you for that. I want to thank you, Dennis, so much for being on today's show. And we'll be looking out for you to continue to do great things. But thank you so much for joining us today.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. And for everybody who's listened to, this interview, you too have the ability to make the choice. It may not always be the right choice. Sometimes we're going to make a wrong choice. Sometimes we're going to fall. But when you surround yourself with good people, people that are inspiring, people that will lift you up so that you can walk further, so you can start to run and really live life full out, that's what you're striving for. This community will be with you every week. But let's think about today, where in your life might you need to let go of some relationships that are toxic? Might you need to change your environment, move to a different place? What action steps can you take today to get yourself to a place of truly living your life full out? Now, coming up in our next segment, we will be taking your calls, and we're committed to making sure that you have the tools to make the right decisions, to make ones that fully fill you up inside and give you that peace and clarity that Dennis talked about. We'll be right back after this break.
Connor is struggling in school.
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
Why don't you understand me?
I do. This is what it feels like for kids with learning and attention issues. Redirecting to understood.org.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
You've messed up your son's haircut. Do you try to fix it? Work with what you've got? Or show solidarity?
Thank you, babe. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He knows he's a pretty big deal. How could you not love him?
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework. I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
1 in 5 children struggle with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to understood.org.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Papa!
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Boom. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Boom.
Open road, here comes the Heffley family.
Whether it's a short trip or a long haul,
Estimated time 47 hours.
they will beg,
You're hungry? I'm happy to provide.
they will plead.
Deep fried butter on a stick.
But whatever you do, don't wimp out.
Now you're talking.
Make them buckle up.
He can't hurt.
Remember, safety first. Cheese curls second.
Are you orange?
Hey, Gabby, how you doing? How's the play date and sleepover?
Dad, it was great.
Awesome. Okay, I'm on my way. Hey, guys, what are you doing?
We're going swimming. We're going biking. Yeah.
I'll see you in a little bit, guys. I love you.
Hi, babe. How was school today?
Hi, Dad. It was great.
Okay, honey. I'll be home soon. Remember, you're never too far away from your kids to be a dad. Reach out and take a second to check in, because sometimes the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
When making choices in life, you just have to deep down into your heart and soul and realize that whatever choice you make is going to be the right one in the moment. And if it's not the right choice, if you make a mistake or if you fail, take that as a time to learn, to pick up a new life lesson. And the next time we're at that crossroad, I'm confident you'll make the right choice. It's all about living life full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a certified life coach, Nancy can help you to overcome challenges and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Okay, welcome back to the show. I'm Nancy Solari, and this is the Living Full Out show. And today we're talking about choices. And I just want to center all of us today that from the minute you wake up, you have the choice to do something. You have the choice to eat the right things, to work out, to read a book, to talk to a friend, to get to work on time, to do whatever it is that brings you joy. Or we have the choice to do something destructive, to do something that's not going to bring us peace, to do something that feels out of alignment with our goals and values. The choice is always yours. I want you to not focus on the past. The past is gone. All we have is today. We actually don't even have the promise of tomorrow. You can only relish in what is going on right now. And so when you're considering the choices of today, just today, with the remainder of what's left in the day, think about what positive choices that you can make to inspire you, to motivate you to live full out. That might be, again, working out. That might be calling a friend that you've been putting off and haven't gotten back to yet. Maybe they left you a voicemail 3 days ago and you've just been putting it off. Maybe that's getting ready and doing homework or preparing for your career, whatever you might need to do. It's just really important that you prioritize, and then that way you can make the right choices. Now, I'm getting word from our producer that we do have a caller on the line, and we're going to go ahead and say hello to them. Hi, welcome to the Living Full Out show.
Hi.
Hi, thank you for joining us. How can we help you today?
Well, I have a bit of a unique problem in that I have a 20-year-old daughter, and she is away doing an internship in Dubai, another country, and she has an issue with anxiety and depression, which then comes out sort of as an OCD issue with it's just
brings her anxiety.
That's how it comes out.
Yeah.
So it generally happens when there's a big transition in her life. That's sort of the pattern we've been noticing. But it just flared up after she left for the summer to do her internship, and she's so far away, and I don't know how to she calls pretty regularly, but is very depressed and anxious. I don't know how to support her on a phone call or even FaceTime and really be there for her when I'm so far away. And even the time change of 8 hours, that makes such a big difference. And I was wondering if you had any suggestions for me.
Well, absolutely. And the thing is so this has obviously been a pattern, and she's been at this crossroad before, right? What gave her peace? What lessened her anxiety in the past?
I'm sorry, what lessens it?
Yep.
That's a good question, because it's almost like she gets in this cycle of circling when she gets into that anxiety and depression and OCD. And
right,
she gets so obsessed with the OCD itself that it kind of just spirals out of control.
Right. But rather focusing on that. So here's where the coaching starts. Okay? It starts right now. So even in this question where I asked you what in the past lessened the anxiety, what got her to a more peaceful place, you went right back into the anxiety. And when we do that, we give the anxiety power. Do you see what I'm saying? So my question to you was, what relieved the pain for her? And you went right back into giving the power to the anxiety and the OCD in further explaining it to me. So what you want to show your daughter is that same thing, okay? So when you call her up, ask her, what did you do today? If she goes back into talking about the OCD or goes into an anxiety-driven place, you want to point out to her that she's giving that OCD. She's giving that anxiety power. It's exactly what you did. And I really welcome you to go back to livingfullout.com and listen to this show again when we have the recording up and kind of hear back this conversation, because I think you'll hear what I mean. And she's going to do it as well. She's going to go on and on about the negative. When we go into the place of the negative and we give that power, now there's no room in our life to be uplifted. So what you want to discover is you want to go back and maybe journal and think about the different times that she was at these crossroads in the past. What relieved the pain? What made her smile? What brought her any amount of joy? And it might have been a book, it might have been food, it might have been friends, it might have been getting more sleep, it might have been medication. I don't know what that was. But you want to look back in the past, see what did help her. And then even though you're far away, you can send her a care package. You can send her videos. You can literally contact her every day with some version. It might be a video that you email her. It might be an email. It might be a text message. It might be a FaceTime, right? We can think all of these days and have some fun with it. Have it be like Motivational Monday, Teasing Tuesday, Wacky Wednesday, and all these little things are going to bring her joy. She might go, oh, Mom, that's just silly, or I've got to get work done. But I promise you, she will love you for it. And any little smile will break up that anxiety. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you so much. I appreciate you pointing that all out.
Absolutely. I believe in you and her. And remember, don't give the power away to the anxiety. Take it back. Okay? Thank you so much for calling in. And I want to thank everybody who is listening today. We're here for you every week. And I want to also give gratitude to our Living Full Out team. We have Rich and Elizabeth and Zoe and Sam and Riley and all the people that put this show on. We look forward to seeing you next week for more inspiration. But until then, here's to you living your life full out.